Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Football Talk podcast. First and foremost, make sure you guys smash the like button and you are subscribing to the channel and make sure that you guys give love to the video. And if you haven't got your notification bell on, please turn that on. Um, Guys, also on the comment section, please give us some comments related to football or on how we can improve the podcast for you. We have our OG panel back, minus Nish. So we've got my man Mitt, my man Bav, and I'm your host, Rish. What are you guys saying?
Afternoon, everyone. How you doing this bank holiday weekend?
Hey, yeah, how's everyone doing?
Yeah,
Good.
so today we're just basically gonna quickly go through the important games that happened over the bank holiday weekend. Let's start off with the United game. So Bav, did you watch the game? What did you think about it?
Yeah, well, I caught the game, the highlights after the match, and it was quite a bit of a bore fest, to be honest. Both teams had a few chances. I know Villa played quite a high line, so United got in a few times, particularly behind Mings and the other centre. Took their chance, which was a bit of a scrappy goal. If you look at it, it's something that you'd be pretty annoyed to concede. I think they held out for the win. Got a bit lucky with one of the Villa chances. It was a bit of a pinball in the area, but luckily they held out. So put some 3 points closer to that magic number, which will get them Champions League. I think they need to get 72 to be certain of it. So they're 9 off now.
That was such a crappy goal to score, man. That one who for, and you get opened up by a defensive header, literally split open the defense, and Rashford went through straight on goal.
You see in FIFA, wouldn't it? Just literally something out of the script.
Yeah, that's no, even FIFA can't script that. Like literally, in FIFA, if you try to do that, it will never happen. At least the defenders have more common sense than those Villa defenders did.
It was, yeah, you'd be annoyed conceding that, and I think it's sort of undone Villa's good work over the last few months. It's probably the only game they haven't scored in since Emery's taken charge. So sort of goes to show how important a clean sheet and how hard they would have had to work for that. Obviously, you need a bit of luck sometimes as well.
It's funny how, or I can only always come across where United always score those type of jammy goals. I can't remember when Arsenal last time scored a goal like that. Or Liverpool.
Aston Villa. It's always against Aston Villa. They had one against Aston Villa. You got one
Oh
against
yeah,
Aston
Villa. That was a
The
jammy.
Jorginho.
It hits the bar and it comes back off the goalkeeper and goes in.
So are you confident with the defense that you got currently? Or are you a bit hesitant that you might finish fourth behind Newcastle?
I think the defense is a bit shaky still. I know Shaw and Lindelof individually have done quite well, but they're not. Obviously, they're not the first choice centre halves for the defense. So it is a bit shaky. I think we'll come unstuck against Brighton. To be honest, they're a team that will the rest of their players will be probably a bit more fresher for that game. So I think the away games will be quite tricky. I think at Old Trafford, United seem to have a decent record there, so it should get them over a line for top four. But I don't think they'll do anything more than they won't go above and beyond. They'll probably just about scrape fourth place.
At least you'll get Champions League football. That's all that matters anyway.
It's just go over the line. That's all it is now.
Speaking of Liverpool, did you watch the game, mate? And what did you think about your performance? Like you nearly bottled it.
Yeah, we nearly bottled it, but we're facing Spurs who just want to outbottle us bottling, and they literally showed it. I don't know how much like courage you got to show to come back from 3-0 down and then literally hand us the goal. Lucas Moura with the sick through ball to Jota, and Jota finishes it off. Literally, that is just pure Spurs. My favorite is Richarlison, his celebration, going off, taking off his top, standing on top of the whatever billboard thing, and then looking at the crowd saying, "Yeah, I'm back." And then literally 20 seconds later, 90 seconds later, is done. He's his hands on his face.
That's a bit of Everton DNA creeping in as well.
Yeah, back from too much memories of Pickford doing it and stuff like that, and now it's got its own new Spurs team to do it as well.
Spurs are always Spurs. That's why I love their bottling. I can always count on Spurs to outdo anyone and everyone. They're just
Yeah,
such a pub team. They
like
they're trying to act like a big team, but yeah, they haven't won a trophy in the most successful period that they had with Pochettino. It's just embarrassing on how a club that has spent quite a lot of money in the last few years, and they've haven't managed to yield any trophy, like even Carling Cup, the League Cup, they can't even produce that. Like they're just pure bottlers. Champions League final against Liverpool again, bottling in the first minute.
I think you look back in history, you just see the amount of bottle that Spurs have thrown away over the years, and it's just remarkable. Like how is a club so cursed?
it's
There's got
Daniel
to be
Levy.
something in the realms of like what's it called, a witch doctor or witchcraft going on here. This is just beyond normal levels.
He signed it. He's given his soul to the devil.
They sold their soul for that last Carling Cup they won in 2008. Since then, it's just been absolute misery for them.
And then you got Harry Kane literally sticking to that club no matter what. I think it's time for him to actually leave. Would you take him at United?
Oh yeah, undoubtedly. I think he'd be a good addition to this attack. They need someone who can like knit it together and hold the ball up a bit better. I think the
I
mannequin
think
that we've
you.
got up there with Martial doesn't do that quite well
What,
enough.
what about what Weghorst?
The woot woot. He's just he's not of the standard needed for a club. I think he was a stopgap, but he's never up to the level of a top four team, let alone a title winning team. So
would you rather pay 100 million for Kane and that's all you buy, or would you rather buy 2 or 3 more players?
it depends on the profile of players. So I'd rather buy 2 or 3 players. The squad, as you've seen, is absolutely dire. Like once you get past the first 11, Ten Hag doesn't trust the substitutions, and when he does use them, he ends up bottling the game. Look at Sevilla, look at Spurs. As soon as he made changes in those games, they went out of our control. So I'd rather would spend it on squad players who can, help the team game manage a bit better. There seems to be a lot of deadwood in there. That like Fred was atrocious when he came on against Spurs. Just never seen someone give the ball away so much. It seems like it's a personal mission.
But this season, I thought Fred's played really well. It's just recently he's been looking bad.
Yeah, since the massacre at Anfield, he's just been absolutely appalling. He doesn't know how to pass. I think that's heads like that game sent your head spinning. You can't see where his players are anymore.
He doesn't trust anyone. He's lost
He
faith.
doesn't trust it. I think Ten Hag's not lost. He doesn't trust him anymore. He's not started. I don't think since then.
Why do you think Casemiro is getting red card? Because he doesn't want to destroy his confidence for playing hard teams.
That's it. Yeah, I think Casemiro's just like, nah, bun this. You need to break.
Clever guy. Would you?
Yeah.
Where do you think Kane will potentially end up at this summer? Because he's got 1 year left in his contract, and I don't think he's going to sign a new one. He should be leaving this summer. Where do you think he'll end up at?
The only thing that game is, the only thing is United or Spurs. So if United don't want to buy it, then he'll just do his last year at Spurs. It's not like he's going to complain about it. He's been there for like 7-8 years.
You don't want Liverpool to sign him?
No, I wouldn't want him. He just doesn't fit our football. He can't press from the front. And I don't think we need someone off strikers anyway. We need midfielders. So I wouldn't want to get him in either.
I think Kane would do well in Liverpool. He was the only one pressing yesterday. Him and Son yesterday were the main ones pressing. It was just their midfield was covering behind them that they conceded so many at the beginning.
No, yeah, that's all fine, but it's not someone we need. Like we spent at the start of this season, we spent all our budget on Darwin, and when we should have spending on midfielders. So I think now we need to rebuild the squad rather than spending on a single player.
True. I think you could do with some centre midfielders, to be honest, compared rather than a striker. I think you got enough firepower now with Jota and Diaz back.
Yeah, and as soon as Jota came back, he is back to how he was when he first joined. Like if he was there throughout this whole season, I think we would have got top 4 comfortably. He can actually finish, which none of our other players can, which is why I used to liked him before injured.
Yeah, I think you've missed his work rate as well. He's one of those players who you don't see it, but he puts in a good shift.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And Jota gets in ahead of Darwin in our team, which just shows how Klopp thinks of him.
Yeah, Jota's a quality player. I would have loved to have him at Arsenal. He would be perfect for Arteta's team. Him and Diaz is also sick as well. Like
Yeah, Diaz
that,
is sick at dribbling. He's probably I can't name a better player apart from Son in the Premier League who's better than him at dribbling.
that's how Mudryk is meant to be like. But
Hmm.
man's gone and done what, one assist? This
He
whole
doesn't even play though.
yeah, but
It's a
he,
very disjointed team.
yeah,
You don't even know what Chelsea have no identity. You don't even know how. I don't even think the players know what type of football they should be playing, what they should be doing. Should they be
I don't
looking to
think the
beat a man
manager knows what to
or
do.
Lampard just plays off vibes. He doesn't have a plan or tactics.
Well, but Lampard's not gonna have a plan because man's gonna fuck off in like 6 games time. So
Man's just been
what
asked
plan
to
is he
bring in
going
a
to
goal
fix him
time back.
then?
Yeah.
It's such a if they get I really really sorry Chelsea fans, but I really want to see Chelsea get relegated. I really do. It would be hilarious to see a £600 million spent just to get relegated from the league.
I would
But
love I'd love to see the top six just managed by their team. So I'd love to see Liverpool managed by Gerrard, Chelsea with Lampard, Man United with Scholes, uh,
Skulls, oh
Tot-
god.
Tottenham with like Scott Parker, Man City with Company, and Arsenal with Vieira.
well, we've
To be fair,
got
I
our
think Vieira
manager
and company
already.
are
We've
decent
already got
managers.
Arteta.
To
Yeah,
be fair, yeah, you
but
got Arteta.
I mean for someone that was there for time and not someone that's actually a decent manager.
Vieira is a decent
Arteta was there
manager.
for time though.
I think Vieira is a decent manager. He did well with Crystal Palace.
What do you mean? Roy Hodgson came along and is doing better than him already.
Yeah, I think he's doing better now, but I think Vieira did a good job
He
at
did do
Palace.
a good job last season. He had a very good last
Last
season.
season.
Very good last season.
But you can still see, yeah, you can still say the same. Gerrard, he's one of the only managers to go invincibles in. He's got that against his name now.
He's the invincible. And he's got Premier League, but he's got a freaking invincible title in Scotland.
Yeah, so he's the Scottish champion of the world.
Making up title names and shit. All right, let's move on to the United takeover that happened. Well, the two bids went in last Friday. Bav, what's your take on? Could you explain as to what the situation is currently and what is your take on it?
Yeah, so obviously we've had the two bids go in, one from Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the other one from Sheikh Jassim from Qatar. So my understanding is that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is buying it through his Ineos company. It's not going to be him as an individual. He owns Ineos. It's a publicly traded company. It has a good turnover as well. So he's looking to buy it through them, and he's looking to buy 69% of the shares. So all the Class B shares that the Glazers have, they have sort of two sets of shares. Class B, which is the ones that have a lot of voting power. Class A, which are very much just display, investment shares. So he's buying the majority of those. He wants to sort of, he's put in 3.5 billion for those. That's 69%. Whereas the bid from Sheikh Jassim is looking at just over 5 billion. I think it's 5.5 billion, but take away the debt, which makes it around 5 billion net for the actual purchase of the club, and he wants it outright, 100%. So both bids have gone in now, and I think my preference probably would be for someone like Ineos to deal with it. They seem to know what they're doing in the football world. They own Nice as well. They seem to develop quite a good talent pool there. Qatar seems to be more of a sports washing project. You really want to be someone who's a face for the government in a sense. I know they've said he's a private bidder, but he looks like he's just bidding by proxy, if anything. So he's just someone that is acting for the royal family. Obviously, they've got all those controversial issues surrounding them, particularly around human rights and just general sports washing. So is that something you want? Like, me personally, as a United fan, I don't want to be a front for sports washing. I'd rather have a club that's free from all that. We're not like a pawn in someone's game. I'd rather there's someone in there who's just genuinely in it for the club. Either bid isn't particularly great, but it's better than what we've got now with the Glazers.
Can you explain to the viewers, especially young children, because I've seen it all over Twitter, that they basically want Ratcliffe out of the club already, as he hasn't even bought the club yet, and the reason for that is because they think that being bought by the Qatar, um, they can actually go and spend billions of pounds and buy any player in the world and become successful, etc. That's
They
all they
can.
see. Yeah, they can, but that's all they see. But as a club, why do you think it's better to go with party A than party B, for example? From your opinion, like why is it better to go, like you mentioned, to go with Ineos path rather than the $1 billion path that Newcastle and Man City are on?
So the main reason I see people objecting to Sir Jim Ratcliffe is that they feel that it's just a Glazer Mark II, where they're loading a whole load of debt onto the club and he's not putting a penny of his own in. There's a massive difference between the way the debt's going to be handled. It's not going to be on Man United as a company. It's going to be on Ineos. They're taking on the full debt, to purchase the club. If they default on any of the payments for that, nothing. United don't lose any of their assets. The stadium, any of their copyrights, anything that's associated with the club.
But they can take the money. Yeah, they can take money out of United and pay off that debt anyway. So
exactly, but the debt doesn't sit with the club. None of their capital's at risk. It's purely with Ineos. So if they don't pay one of the interest payments, they default on it. It doesn't. It'll be one of their. It's how when you purchase a mortgage versus an unsecured loan. The mortgage is secured against your house. This is like an unsecured loan. There's nothing that you have to give up if you don't pay it. If that makes sense. So that's the big difference between Glazers and what Ineos is giving. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but what's his name again? The Qatar guy is like Sheikh.
Jassim, yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm not.
Why not him? Because he's gonna buy the club 100% and you guys will have no debt at all, and you guys would be free to spend billions of pounds that he has. So why not that route?
So not that route. Obviously, you look at the history of that bid, where it's coming from. Obviously, it's labeled as a private bid from Sheikh Jassim, but we know it's Qatar. It's a state bid. It's going to be for United aren't going to be the primary focus of their their plans. Yes, they'll have all this unlimited money, but as you've seen with PSG, that doesn't mean anything. They've not really run that club properly. It looks like a circus. It's just a front to present this nation as someone who's friendly to the world. That we are the good guys. It's just a sports washing project. It doesn't seem to me that they want United to be genuinely successful. When you're a football club, the amount of communities that you don't want to be as a tool for a political party. For instance, you look at City and Newcastle; they're just there to promote the Saudis and Abu Dhabi. That's all they're known for. They actually have their own identity. They weren't really a club that was relevant. So you feel that you lose that identity, you lose who you are as a club. What makes you unique by doing that.
I think Man United's bigger than Qatar in general anyway. I think if you go around the world and you ask, what do you know, Man United or Qatar? More people would say Man United. So I think Man United won't ever lose its identity. But I guess it comes down as a fan. Do you want to be a fan that actually wins stuff with using like bad money, or would you rather keep your club clean and work your way to winning something, even though you might never win it? Because it seems like these American owners would spend money using their head rather than just pump money into the club just because it's there.
Yeah, so I feel like there won't be any restriction with Qatar, but I don't think they know how to run a football club. They don't know what they're doing in terms of structure, setting up a football club for long-term success. They seem to very much just throw money at it, and that doesn't seem to be the like you look at City, they seem to have a plan. They've got football people running things. Whereas you look at PSG, and it just seems a bit of a circus. You got Mbappe, who's pretty much making all the decisions in that club. They don't seem to have any individual identity as well in terms of how they run a club for this, to make them successful. And you've seen the Premier League, money doesn't just guarantee you. Liverpool were competing with financial restraints. Arsenal, they are at the well, they were competing at the top. They didn't need all this money pumping in. They just needed to be spent the right way. I don't think it needs a billionaire. It just needs someone who will run the club properly.
Do United need the club to be sold? Because the way I see it from an outsider, you guys spend like for Liverpool is a different situation because they don't spend the money that they actually could potentially spending. So Liverpool could have a reason as to why they want to switch owners. But Man United, they're the top two net spend in the Premier League. Why are fans complaining and moaning? Like you guys are spending
Yeah.
money and competing with Man City billion-dollar owner. Why you guys? Well, I don't understand why United fans are moaning and complaining about it. About spending. Like you guys are spending as is. What do you want? Do you want to spend another 200 billion or something on top of what you already spend? Like,
Well, the complaint doesn't
No.
come from transfer fees and wages. It comes from the club. Look at the state of the stadium. It's absolutely appalling. If you look at the training ground, it hasn't. Ronaldo said it. The facilities haven't changed in 20 years. The way the Glazers have ran it is like, yeah, we've got this club, but we're keeping it exactly the same way. We're not going to invest particularly in its growth, in its long-term growth. But yeah, we're going to buy players. You're going to buy, for instance, you get a house. You're not really investing in the structure of it. All you're doing is buying a new window, you're buying a new front door, buying a new, TV, buying all these things that yes, people can see visually, but it doesn't actually help the long term stability of that what you've got, your asset. It's just it's ticking over, and over time that will catch up. Look at the facilities on offer at Liverpool and particularly City and Arsenal. They have got the best, best in scouting, the best in, it just the facilities in the stadium. Like you go to Old Trafford, you can't really get Wi-Fi. It's just simple things. Like they've not. You obviously as a match going fan, you probably know it more, but on the outside, you see, the club spending, but you dig down deeper, that money's not really going into what makes the club run. If that makes sense.
so that's the biggest issue that the fans have, and not the actual spend the
No,
transfer.
it's never been about.
No, but I think the logical fans think like how Vavik does, but there is quite a few of them who go, "Oh, we never buy anyone." But they do buy people, like you said. They spend a lot of money, which the Glazers do, but they don't invest that money elsewhere where they should be doing it.
Yeah, they've just got with it in terms of getting a director of football. The Glazers are very lucky they had Ferguson and Gill at the helm when they bought the club, the best in class. They took care of everything, but you've seen since they've both gone, the club's just been a circus. It's a graveyard for quality players. You haven't got the infrastructure. You haven't got the scouting. You're not uncovering as many great players as we used to be.
I reckon reckon they are basically struggling to either make a decision on spending a lot of money on transfer fees or invest internally in a club. Because Man United as a reputation are so highly recognized around the world as a brand. The spending of transfer fees every year comes with it. So if you're an owner, you have to do it, because if you don't do it, you're gonna have a backlash from the fans. So I think as an owner, because if I was owning Man United, I'll have that decision in my head, and I was budgeted because I bought the club not with my money, but as for loans. So I needed to think that I've got X amount to spend. Where am I going to put that X amount? Do I put it towards the transfer fees, or do I put it into the internal investments? So if I want to please the fans, then it will be transfer fees and not internally, because fans don't know what's happening internally. So to keep them happy and to keep the brand recognizable, so they can get more commercial income, etc., they will continue to do that. I think that's what they've done.
Yeah, they monetized it. Income's not a problem. I don't think spending's ever been a problem, but they didn't do it from day one, if that makes sense. That's something that's just chronically got worse. Had they been doing that from the beginning, it wouldn't have got to the point it has done now, where we've got a training ground that isn't fit for purpose, doesn't have the right facilities for rest and recovery. For if you're going to be signing all these 50, 60 million pound players, 100 million pound players, you need to have the right facilities for them to work in. You've seen with Ronaldo when he came out with a load of nonsense in his interview, but some of it was very damning about the state of the club, about where they are. He left in 2009, and some of the facilities had not changed in that time. Now, you tell me.
That's the only reason why Glazers went and put the club unsold. Like if Ronaldo never did that, they wouldn't have done that in the first place.
Yeah, so he called them out, but had no one said anything, you wouldn't have been any wiser in terms of what the problems are with the club and why, and fans are so angry with it.
So let's move on to Mitt's point opinion on Liverpool. Before I do that, I completely forgot to ask you, Bav. I wanted to ask you, do you want the club to be sold sold by the Glazers, or you don't mind let them be part of the club, being any sort of involvement? Because that's what I think the Ratcliffe bid.
Yeah, so the Ratcliffe bid has them there, but only as partial stakeholders. They'll lose all their controlling shares. They'll have no say in how the club's run. And I think there's a lot of misconception that they're still hanging around or it's bad. But having them around means that they don't actually have any say in how the club's run. All they do is get a bit of a dividend at the end of the year. So they're still there benefiting from the club, but they're not making the decisions. And that's where my issue lies, that they're not making the right decisions for the club. I know they've changed their policy in the last year, and it seems promising the direction they've gone, but too much has happened since 2013. It's been 9 years of mismanagement. It's going to take a lot to fix that, and probably it's time for a new start.
So, Liverpool, do you want new owners? But was like they put it for sale, and then now they've basically come back and said, "Nah, I'm all good. I want to keep them," because they see potential value for it.
They didn't see potential value for it. They just saw that they didn't have people bidding what they expected to be bidding. As soon as we put it for sale, they expected many investors to come, but Man United bidded a few weeks later. And so all those investors were looking at Man United rather than Liverpool. So no one was really actually looking at our club. And from there, the investors just thought, okay, there's no point. We'll stick to owning the club. It's like, I think our clubs run really good. I like the way our clubs run. The only problem is that opposite of Bavik is that we don't actually spend. So when we do need to invest, when Klopp needs players, they won't let him go free with it. Like to get all the players in, they'll be like, here's your budget. Go pick what you want from there. So that's my only issue. So with our owners, I don't know. I wouldn't want them for the long term, because the only way we're going to compete is you only get so lucky about scouting and getting those players in, which we luckily can do. But eventually you'll get to a point where teams will just spend so much. Other teams will spend so much where you just can't keep up with them. Like City, like we could have won titles in the past few years, but just because they could outspend us, it's nothing better that they could do that we couldn't do. But it's just mainly down to they got a bigger squad than us. So if we did have the money, we would have invested to get a bigger squad, and we would have been fine. So I like our owners, but eventually the long term, it would be nice to have someone like Ratcliffe or someone buying us as well. If they can run the club properly, we still haven't seen it. They could just be as bad as the Glazers. No one knows.
So you take like an investment vehicle where they sort of invest some money in, but you keep the current structure and the current running of the club.
So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get investors in, but I don't know whether they'll find those investors. I don't know how much they're going to invest in it, but I would want to spend. I think right now is the time where we do need to spend. So maybe not every year like how City do, but you'll need to do it every so often. Like that one big window we had where we got Van Dijk, Alisson, all of them in. We need another window like that so we can build a new core, a younger core. Because our average age of our team is 28, and compared to Arsenal's, who's 23. So that's how we were when we started it. So when we had Mane and all of that, our peak age was around 23, about 24, 25. So now with that lost that, I think it's time to go back to that era.
Let's make we got less than 10 minutes, so let's end that topic here and let's move on to the weekend games that we haven't discussed so far. What did you guys think? Like, let's make a quick Brighton 6-0 against Wolves. What did you think of that? I think that game was like a very good game to watch, and they played like prime Barcelona.
Brighton were sensational. Some of the football they were playing was out of this world. And that was probably a few of their squad players as well. So it's quite extraordinary to see.
Welbeck became fucking prime Ronaldo for that split
Yeah.
second. And then he showed, and then back to normal.
Came back.
Resumed. Missed
Well,
that goal.
to be honest, I don't even know if they look like prime ball. So I just think over the weekend, everyone's defending was just super crap. So anyone could have looked like prime Ronaldo, Messi, and so on this weekend.
We've also got the Newcastle game where they won 3-1 against Southampton. They are keep winning games. Do you think United will top them, or do you think Newcastle will get the third place?
I think they've cemented top four definitely. I don't think they'll get top four. I think I think they'll get top four. I don't think they'll finish third. I think Man United will take them on it.
I think it'll be the opposite. I think Newcastle are looking good. I think they'll probably sneak third over us. I think it'll be close, but I think United are going to start stuttering as well. They've got some tough couple of away games, and Newcastle might pull a bit clear. Then Newcastle have tough games as well.
Yeah.
So it'd be an interesting finish.
They have Arsenal next, don't they?
Oh yeah, they do. So
Yeah,
I think
they do.
Be an interesting finish. I just think they've got a lot more firepower. They seem to be scoring more freely than United.
So if Newcastle do beat Arsenal, then it does fall into Rish's prediction where Arsenal may be closer to Newcastle than Man City by the end of the season.
Well, in Arsenal to win the title, Man City's got to lose 2 games, and Arsenal has to win every single 5 games remaining. And the 2 games I'm hoping that where they could lose are Brentford and Brighton, which is the last 2 games of the season. So if that happens, that would make a finale twist and the Premier League to be so exciting. And I hope that happens because I have a feeling something like this is going to happen because I see Man City going to Brighton and they'll potentially lose there because they've got so many games coming up right now. They've still got 6 games left. They got Real Madrid in the semi-finals, home and away, which is going to be an amazing game to watch. And I expect City to go to the final. They've got the FA Cup final against United, and then they've got a final for Champions League after that. So once they get to the final, which they already got with FA Cup, I think the players will start to think, I don't want to play at 100% because I don't want to be injured. I want to be in the final. And they have to face Brighton and Brentford away. They're 2 away games. So I could potentially see that happening.
I think Real Madrid are going to beat City.
I hope not.
I don't know. Either way, I think there'll be games that will take a lot out of City. Which way around is it? Is City home first or they away first?
They at home first, I think.
Okay. So that makes it a bit complex in the sense that if they've got a second leg at Bernabeu, then an away game to Brentford or Brighton, whichever way around it is, then it's
no. The Madrid games happened way before, anyways.
Oh, is it way before? Okay.
Yeah, way before. But they've got all the Premier League games squashed into 1 week. They've got 3 in 7 days.
Yeah, that could, but they're the ones who can cope with that, as we've seen with their squad size. They're the only team set up to cope with that kind of congestion.
I think everyone copes with it recently. Every time there was a Champions League game, I would still expect them City to win anyway.
They've been doing it for years, haven't they? So they've they know the path. They've trodden it many times.
All right, guys, let's make this quick. The relegation battle. So we've got Everton playing tonight against Leicester.
Come on, Leicester.
Well, like yeah, who do you think, like, draw, win? Who do you think is going to win?
Where are they playing at? Leicester's ground.
Leicester, yeah.
They're
Yeah, I
playing
think
at-
Leicester.
I just know Everton are going down. It's gonna happen. I've said it since
Got a feeling.
day they're gonna go down. It's done. They're finished.
I think Southampton, Everton, and I think Forest will go. I don't want Forest to go. I would prefer Leeds, but
I
I
want
think
Forest to go.
can see too many.
Um,
All that lead against Brentford, so that kind of sealed their fate, I think.
Yeah, I'm happy. All of us were saying a few weeks ago Bournemouth are going down. Now they've won what, 4
Now
out of 5. Now
they're safe now, Bournemouth.
yeah, they're
So
comfy. They're comfy.
teams,
Now
it's
they're
just
looking
if you
at this
think
just
someone's
going.
doomed, they'll go on like one of 2-3 wins. It's just mental.
So now that I've doomed Everton, watch how they win today.
Next, quick, 2 more predictions, guys. We need to be quick. Arsenal, Chelsea. Who do you think?
I think 3-0 Arsenal.
Where are you playing? At Stamford Bridge.
Um,
I think they're also going to win no matter what, but just depending on the scoreline depends where you're playing.
3, yeah, it's Emirates.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be 2-0.
I think it's going to be 3-1. We will concede because Dalmas Holding is there,
And Ramsdale.
and yeah, and Ramsdale, fucking.
David de Ramsdale.
United, Brighton. It's Brighton away. Brighton at home.
Oh, I think Brighton will beat them. I think that'll be 3-0, 4-0 again.
I don't think it'll be that far. I think it'll be probably 3-1. I don't see it.
That's not bad. That's not any difference from 3-0 nearly.
Well, no, you saying 4-0?
I said 3 or 4-0.
Yeah. I think it'll be 3-1 to Brighton.
And then we've got Liverpool, Fulham at Anfield.
I think Liverpool will take it.
Yeah, I think
it'll be a close game. It'll be a close game where we're going to give away chances. We just need to outscore them. That's it.
Yeah, I think it'll be 2-1 Liverpool against Fulham. Hopefully, Mo Salah at the double.
For your fantasy football.
For fantasy, yeah, he's ticking along nicely.
Who you captain? Haaland.
I captain Haaland, but I need Salah to help me with the differential.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a Liverpool win as well. It's at Anfield. It's just a different breed at Anfield.
Yeah, they never lose there. If they do, they've probably got like a whole host of injuries, but they never do lose there.
Yeah, and I see Brighton winning that United hands down. I see nothing else.
I should have really turned my light on, by the way.
Oh, is it gone dark now? Can't even see. Newcastle, Arsenal.
Ooh.
I would say Arsenal.
I'm going to draw for that one. I think it'll be 2-2.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up now. Thank you guys for coming and having your say. Viewers, you are awesome. So please subscribe to our channel and give this video a bit of love. So give us a thumbs up. And we've also provided links on Instagram and Twitter in the description. So please also follow us there. We will be back next week. So see you guys until then. Peace.